Okay, good morning all of you. Yesterday we seen about the different types of the molecular velocities and relation between the molecular velocity, everything. Today we will see some important things is nothing but a molecular interactions. Molecular interactions. See very carefully is an important topic, just further concept. So what is the meaning of molecular interactions? Means in a matter the smallest particle is nothing but molecules. Between the molecules some force of attraction will be there. The based on force of attraction only the physical state of the matter will be depends. That only I will write here a physical state. Physical state of matter. Physical state of the matter depends on a molecular interactions. Molecular interactions means between the molecule a strong force of attraction will be there, then it is existing as a solid. If it is weak, may liquid or gas. So between the molecule very strong force of attraction, solid, weak liquid, very weak gas. That's why the physical state of the matter is depending upon a molecular interactions. We have mainly different types of the molecular interaction is nothing but ion and dipole interactions. Ion dipole attractions. Second one is dipole attractions. Dipole attractions. Third one is induced dipole attractions. Induced dipole and induced dipole attractions. Induced dipole attractions. And fourth category is nothing but dipole and induced dipole attractions. Induced dipole attractions. We have how many types of attraction between the constant particle and the matter? We have four categories. What are the four categories? Ion dipole attraction, dipole attraction, induced dipole attraction, and dipole induced dipole attraction. I will explain to you, don't worry, one by one very clearly. See, first of all we are discussing about the ion dipole attractions. Ion dipole attractions or interactions is a very clear is always happens between ion and polar molecules. Polar molecules. Always ion dipole attractions will be operating between ions and polar molecules. Where we can feel this one? If you take for example ionic compounds soluble in polar solvents. Ionic compounds soluble in polar solvents. For example, you take NaCl dissolved in which one? Water. What may happen? This NaCl will be break down into Na plus and Cl minus. These are called as ions. Yes or no? Yes. Now these are surrounded by polar molecules. How? This is carrying positive charge? No. From water which is involving in the interaction? Oxygen. Partially negative, partially positive. Yes. Between this positively charged ion and this negatively charged ion having attraction. This is ion and dipole. Already it is having a dipole. That's why we are calling as a ion dipole attractions. And you see here, this is Cl minus ion having attraction with partially positively charged hydrogen atom of the water. Anyway, negative charge and positive charge having attraction, that is also between ion and dipole attractions. This is partially negative. That's why we are calling them as ion dipole attractions. Yes. So when we are observing the ion dipole attraction, when ionic compounds are soluble in the polar solvent, between ions and this polar solvent we have attraction, thus calling as ion dipole attraction. This strength of ion dipole attraction depending upon three factors. So means this is having some charge on it. So means Z is nothing but charge on ion. Okay, if charge on ion is more, attraction will be more, and mu is equals to dipole of polar molecule. Polar molecule. Yes, more dipole moment, more attraction. And R means distance between the ion and dipole. Distance between ion and dipole. So what we can write, force of attraction is directly proportional to charge on the ion, is directly proportional to dipole moment of the molecule, but inversely proportional to square of the distance between the ion and dipole. All together we will write one important thing. We can write the force of attraction or ion dipole attractions. Ion dipole attractions is equals to the Z, charge on the ion, into dipole moment by R square. R square means distance between the two particles, square of the distance between the ion and dipole. Are you understanding or no? Yes, it's a very important thing. There's a formula so very important. Z means charge on the ion, nu means dipole moment of the polar molecule, R means distance between the ion and dipoles. Yes, whatever gap is coming here, that gap is calling as a R. Now we are going to second category, is nothing but dipole attractions. Dipole attractions. As a very clear and very simple, you see carefully, in that namely answer is there, where we are observing these type of the interactions or attractions will be operating between dipole or nothing but polar molecules. Between the polar molecule, these type of the attractions will be operating. Okay, first of all I will tell you one example. Dipole means, for example, you take HCl, you can take HCl liquid. Yes, if you can take HCl liquid, you have H and Cl is a one liquid, and another HCl molecule is nothing but H and Cl. Okay, between H and Cl we are getting sharing, is it equal sharing or unequal sharing? Unequal sharing. Why? Because hydrogen is the 2.1, chlorine is the 3. That's why the shared pair is coming towards chlorine atom, then we are getting partially negative, then we are getting here partially positive. That's why is calling as a polar molecule, because already having two poles in it, that's why calling as dipole. Same situation here also, partially positive we are getting, partially negative we are getting, it is also called as a dipole. Yes, between dipole and dipole some attraction will be coming. Why? One of the dipole of the positively charged end or part will having attraction with negatively charged another molecule. Such attractions only we are calling as dipole attractions. Are you understanding or no? Can you give me one more example for the like this dipole attraction? Yes, if you take for example SO2 molecule is there, SO2 molecule, SO2 will be there. Yes, SO2 means S double bond O and S double bond O is there. You know, this is partially positive, this is partially negative. Same like this we have S double bond O and double bond O, partially positive and partially negative. Anyway, it is the dipole, it is also considered as a dipole. Yes, between positively charged particle and negatively charged particle of another molecule having attraction called as dipole attractions. Yes, based on these dipole attractions only the molecules are having physical states, different physical state. Just I will tell you, in case of gases and liquids, gases and liquids means what? A force of attraction will be less. Why? The force of attraction or dipole attractions is inversely proportional to 6th power of distance between the dipole and dipole. Yes, what happening? This gap is very high. Because of very high gap, force of attraction will be less. Force of attraction will be less. They may existing as a liquids or gases. No, in case of solids, what happening, mama? Yes, in case of solid, dipole attractions is inversely proportional to R cube. Why? So if you take r cube means gap is less means what happening, force of attraction will be high. So automatically less gap, more force of attraction means solid. So more gap means force of attraction will be less. That's why we are getting liquid and solids and gases. All of you understood? Yes. Now we have to discuss third category, induced dipole and induced dipole. Induced dipole and induced dipole attractions. Induced dipole attractions called as London dispersive forces. London dispersion forces or attractions. See, what is the meaning of induced dipole? Induced dipole means basically it is happening between non-polar molecules. It is happening between non-polar molecules. Non-polar means what? Basically the molecules will not having any dipoles, but when they approached creating dipole, that only we are calling as induced magnetical field, induced electrical field we are creating. Or while approaching they are creating, basically they haven't dipoles. That's why between non-polar molecule this is happening. So what is that concept? I will tell you, see carefully. Solid I2 you can take, solid I2. In solid I2 between I and I will be there like this, and another I2 molecule is I and I. Between them what happening? Equal sharing is happening because both are same means is it having any charges? No, but they are approaching together. When they are approaching together, what happening? This is negatively charged part, this is negatively charged particle, repel together means the pair is moving like this. Then we are getting partially negative, here we are getting partially positive. This is going from that electron, we are getting negative here, we are getting positive here. Immediately rearrange, what happening? Attraction between yes, we can take here plus minus and it will be reverse. No, we are getting a plus minus. Yes, while approaching and newly creating dipoles, that's why it's calling as induced dipoles. Then attraction will be coming here, that is calling as London dispersive forces. This London dispersive force is also force of attraction here inversely proportional to sixth power of distance between the induced dipoles and induced dipoles. And one more thing we can tell, this induced dipole force of attraction is directly proportional to molecular weight amount. That's why I will tell you one point. If you take fluorine and chlorine, they are existing in gas. Low molecular mass, less London dispersive force of attraction, that's why they are free. But if you take Br2, it is existing in the liquid phase. And if you take I2, also London dispersive forces, but it is existing in the solid. Why? From fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine is a heavy mass. Heavy mass means more force of attraction. More force of attraction means very tightly packed together, that's why existing in the solid phase. And we have to discuss about the last case is nothing but dipole and induced dipole. Dipole and induced dipole attractions. What is the meaning of dipole and induced dipole attraction? Actually, this is happening between polar and non-polar molecules. Polar and non-polar molecules. Non-polar molecules. Okay, can I give you one example for you? For example, you take HCl. You take HCl and you take I2. Actually, this is the HCl molecule, this is the I2 molecule. HCl molecule is the polar molecule. Polar molecule means is already having dipole, but basically it is the non-polar molecule. Is it having any polarity right now? No, but creating or getting newly dipoles. How? Yes, you check it carefully. Here unequal sharing is happening, then you are getting partially positive, partially negative. This partially negative pull that electron away. That's why the middle electrons moving away from this negative charge, we are getting here partially positive and partially negative, creating dipole. That's why it is calling as induced dipoles. Induced dipole. After that, what happening between polar molecule and a non-polar molecule, we have attraction, that only we are calling as dipole induced dipole attractions. Here also force of attraction is inversely proportional to 6th power of distance between the particle, means between these two particle distance is r. So we are learning about the types of the molecular attraction, ion dipole attraction and a dipole attraction, and induced dipole attraction, and another one is dipole induced dipole attractions. All of you got these points? Yes. That's why we are telling HCl is a liquid but no hydrogen bond. Why? These bonds is nothing but dipole attraction. Generally, among all these, this is the stronger, but these all will be considered as a weak van der Waals forces. These all types is undercomes van der Waals force of attraction. Force of attraction. These three categories. Van der Waals force of attraction will be means very weak. I told already in the chemical bonding what are the bond strength order of different bonds like ionic bond, covalent bond, everything. All of you clear? Yes. We will see some important problems based on Boyle's law, gaseous law, all these things we will discuss. Three, four problems is there, we will discuss that one. Next class we will go to further concept. Yes, I will tell you one of the first problem. You see carefully in your textbook, page number 138. Page number 138. The first problem related to gas laws. See carefully, a balloon is filled with hydrogen at room temperature. A balloon is there, is filled with hydrogen gas at room temperature. Room temperature means 25 degrees Celsius. Okay. It will be burst if the pressure exceeds to room temperature means how much? 1 bar pressure will be there. Or 1 atmosphere or 1 bar pressure. If the pressure exceeds to 0.2 bars, the balloon will be burst, means it will be burst. If 1 bar pressure, the gas occupies 2.27 liters volume. At 1 bar pressure, volume of balloon is how much? 2.27 liters. And up to what volume the balloon can be expanded? Yes, is a very important thing. Once you see carefully, you have a gas balloon at room temperature and 1 bar pressure. Its occupying volume will be how much? 2.27. Now pressure is changing to 0.2. Then the balloon can be expand till how much? Before burst. Okay. So in this, what terms is changing? So is asking a final volume of the balloon is asking. In this, what is maintaining constant? Temperature maintaining constant. Yes, we have to observe carefully. Pressure will be changing. Okay, now write down solution for this one. In this problem, temperature is constant. Temperature is constant. Temperature constant means is a which law? Boyle's law. Boyle's law. What is the Boyle's law? PV is equals to constant. Okay, first of all we have to take balloon at starting or initial. Initially, what we are taking? Volume of gas or balloon is equals to 2.27 liters. Pressure V1. Pressure P1 is equals to 1 bar amount. Now what happening? Now you are changing the pressure, then volume has to be changed. Finally, pressure P2 is becoming how much? 0.2 bars. And what is the final volume before burst the balloon? Yes, under Boyle's law, I told the two conditions is nothing but P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2. What do you want? V2 you want is equals to P1 V1 by P2. P1 estimate 1 bar, V1 estimate 2.27 by P2. P2 means is nothing but 0.2. You simplify, you are getting one particular answer we are getting is nothing but 11.35 liters we are getting. 11.35 liters we are getting. Means initially balloon is 2.27 liters. The balloon can be expand up to 11.35 liters. Immediately the balloon will be burst. That only is asking. So first step, it is related to which law? Later given information, related formula and simplification. Just I will tell you one more problem related to this one. A second problem, page number 139. Page number 139, you see what is given. On a ship moving in a Pacific Ocean, as a ship is moving in the Pacific Ocean where temperature is 23.4 degrees. So temperature is 23.4 degrees Celsius. A balloon is filled with 2 liters air. Here balloon is filled with how many liters air? 2 liters air. What will be the volume of the balloon when the ship reaches Indian Ocean? So what will be the volume of the balloon is asking. The ship reaches Indian Ocean at temperature is 26.1. Temperature is 26.1 degrees Celsius. This information is very simple. Initially balloon or the ship is at T1 temperature and balloon volume is V1 volume. This is written as information initial. Okay na? Now ship moving into Indian Ocean. The situation is final. At the Indian Ocean, what are the temperature? T2. Volume is V2. Yes. Now which is maintaining constant? Temperature changing, volume changing. Yes, we have to write down the solution for this. Pressure is not changing, means pressure is constant. Pressure constant andre enamma? Charles law. Charles law. According to Charles law, V by T is equals to constant. Okay, before that we have to convert that one into a Kelvin scale. It is the degree Celsius, no, small t1. This is the small t2. Now make them. V1 is equals to 2 liters. Temperature T1 is equals to 23.4 plus 273. I want to make it into Kelvins. We are getting 469,296.4 Kelvins. Volume, final volume has to be measured. Final temperature is 26.1 plus 273. Nothing but 1. 6 plus 3, 9, 9 and 299 point this one. Kelvins. Kelvins. Now under Charles law at two different condition, what is the formula we have? V1 by T1 is equals to V2 by T2. What do you want? V2 you want. V2 is equals to V1 by T1 into T2. V1 is 2 liters. T1 is 296.4 into T2 is 299, around 300. You simplify that one, we are getting 2.018 liters. 2.018 liters. This is the way. Understood? Yes, he is only discussing changes of volume and temperature. Then imagine or understand the pressure is maintaining constant. Pressure is maintaining constant means Charles law. Based on Charles law, we discussed the things. Are you clear? Yes. Now I will explain to you one more problem. You see carefully. Third problem is the page number 142. Page number 142. At 25 degrees Celsius and 760 millimeters of mercury pressure, a gas occupied. Yes, what is given? Temperature given, pressure given, volume given. Take it. temperature T1 is equals to 25 degrees Celsius. Better converting into kelvins, 273 is nothing but 298 kelvins. Okay, pressure P1 is equals to 760 mm given and volume given as 600 ml given. Okay, temperature given, pressure given, temperature given, sorry, volume given. What will be the pressure at height where temperature is 10 degrees and volume is 640? Means, so he is asking which one, what will be the pressure? P2 is asking. P2 is asking. Temperature T2 given as 10 degrees. 10 degrees means we can write it as 283 kelvins. And volume has to becomes 640 liters or 640 mls. See carefully. Initially temperature, pressure, volume given. Finally pressure is asking, temperature, volume given. Means all are changing. All are changing means combined gas equation we have to use. Write out that only. Combined gas equation. Combined gas equation we got under ideal gas equation amount. What is that one? P1 V1 by T1 is equals to P2 V2 by T2. What do you want? P2 you want separate. P2 is equals to P1 V1 by T1 cross multiplication T2 by V2. Substitute here. P1 how much? 760. V1 how much? 600 by T1 298 into T2 283 and V2 640. We simplify, finally pressure we are getting how much? Means around 676.6 mm. 676.6 mm we are getting. Yes, it's a very simple formula. First understand what is the law. Later we have to go through it. All of you understood? Yes. Now we will see some other problems. I will tell you some common problems I will tell you. See carefully. Yes, you see. Very important question. Neon and oxygen gas combination is there. Neon and oxygen gas mixture is there. Okay. Weight of oxygen given as 70.6 grams. And weight of neon given as 167.5 grams. Total pressure of the mixture given as 25 bars. What is the partial pressure of neon and partial pressure of oxygen gas is asking. So it is similar to one of the important law is nothing but Dalton's law, total pressure for non-reacting gases. So write down that is only solution for this is nothing but according to Dalton's law. According to Dalton's law, what we can write? P total is equals to partial pressure of neon plus partial pressure of oxygen. Okay. So now what is asking? Partial pressures is asking, but we know relation between partial pressure of neon is equals to mole fraction of neon into total pressure. We know already learned this one. Partial pressure of oxygen is equals to mole fraction of oxygen into total pressure. Already we know this one and we have to calculate this one. To calculate the mole fraction, what requires? Number of moles requires. What is the molecular weight of oxygen is nothing but 32. What is the molecular weight of neon is 20. Then calculate number of moles of oxygen. 70 weight by molecular weight 70.6 by 32. Number of moles of neon is equals to weight 167.5 by 20. You do that one, you will get it. Number of moles of neon is neon is 8.375, oxygen is we are getting 0.21. Very simple remaining. So number of moles you got it, immediately we can get it mole fraction of. Okay, now we are discussing about the mole fraction of oxygen. Number of moles of oxygen by total moles we have to discuss. So number of moles of oxygen is 0.21 by 0.21 plus 0.835. You can calculate. I will explain to you. Number of moles of neon, mole fraction. Number of moles of neon by number of moles of oxygen plus number of moles of neon. Number of moles of neon is 8.375 by 0.21 plus 8.375. You are getting how much? The mole fraction of neon is 0.79. 0.79. If it is coming 0.79, we have already one technique. Sum of the mole fractions of all the gases in the mixture will be equals to 1. So neon, mole fraction of neon is how much you got? 0.79 plus mole fraction of oxygen is equals to 1. Then mole fraction of oxygen is equals to 1 minus 0.79. Nothing but 1.21. So means if you simplify also you are getting same answer. Yes, 0.21. Are you understanding? First what you did? So first of all, according to Dalton's law, total pressure is equals to sum of the partial pressures of all gases. Partial pressure is equals to mole fraction to total pressure. We derived all these in the theory classes. And partial pressure of oxygen is equals to mole fraction into this one. I want to get mole fractions. Before that, you have to find out the number of moles. What is the formula for number of moles? Weight by molecular weight of the substance. I want mole fraction of oxygen, number of moles of oxygen by total moles. Is the mole fraction of neon, number of moles of neon by total moles. Now I want to get it the partial pressure of neon. What I should do? Mole fraction of neon into total pressure. Mole fraction of neon is how much? Just now we calculated 0.79 into total pressure is how much? 25. You are getting how much? In 25.79. 25.79 means is nothing but 19.75. 19.75 bars. Yes, bars. Automatically I want to get partial pressure of oxygen is equals to mole fraction of oxygen into total pressure. Mole fraction of oxygen we got it here. So mole fraction of oxygen 0.21. 0.21 into 25. We are getting partial pressure of oxygen. We are getting as 5.25. 5.25 bars. Together we are getting 25 bars. That only concept. Total pressure is equals to this one. All of you understood? Yes. This derivations already we explained. Partial pressure is equals to mole fraction into total pressure. We calculated moles and mole fractions. We substituted. We got the information. All of you clear?